Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to Comic Book Spotlight, and I have my very good friend Hans Chow here tonight. How you doing, Hans?
Doing all right, man. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Oh, been a wonderful time to get to you. I know you've been very busy, but we haven't spoken since Zazel's show live stream. Shoot the shit.
It's true. That was like about I'm gonna say within the last year, but may or may not be give or take a couple months. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a hot second.
Yeah, yeah. I know we've all been busy, especially uh, myself, still working on my comic book, which I'm on the last issue of writing, and then I will then either do a Kickstarter or get one of the big companies to publish it. We'll see. We'll see. So let's begin. Let's get into a question that I'm kind of curious. What have you been up to?
Wow. All right. So I've been trying to shift my focus away from like kind of the run of the mill job that I'm kind of doing right now. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been about 15 years I've been investing in other things, and
Mhm.
finally now I'm kind of making that slow move away from my normal job and getting into creative almost full time. So on one side, I've been doing radio work for the last 27 years, for the last 27 years. So now people are always like, I should do something with my voice, and I'm like, oh, why not? Let's start reading audiobooks. So I started to do a lot of audiobooks recently. Um, those some will be available on Audible, and I also have a Patreon as well, where I will read pretty much, well, almost anything. I don't want to read anybody's smut or whatever, but yeah, I'll do their reading there, and
Mhm.
uh, uh, and of course also I've started to not started. I finished writing my graphic novel, and I've been working on it
Mhm.
as best as I can, given the amount of time that I do have. I'm about it's only about 50 something pages. I could say 54. It's about 54 pages long, and
Okay.
I've reached page 37. It was supposed to be finished by December, but I'm gonna be that guy
Mhm.
to say, unfortunately, it's probably gonna be done by December. But I've waited this long, and I don't mind waiting a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm doing commissions, mostly art stuff. And then I'm just practicing, practice, 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 always practice.
Oh, that is awesome. Also, I know that you were at JoeFest this year.
That's true. I was at JoeFest this year. I wasn't supposed to be at JoeFest this year. I also wasn't supposed to be last year. But it's good people, man. It's just such good people.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. Every time I go, I find a level of friendship and calm and like a joy that I don't usually get from run of the mill stuff.
Mhm.
So I went back. I met Larry Hama again, which I'm always happy to
Mhm.
meet Larry. I mean, sometimes I just kind of hang around and listen to him tell stories to other people. And I met Adam Riches again, who was nice enough to look over my portfolio, and he gave me some advice and some tips, and I was very happy for that as well. And just in general, seeing all the people that I haven't seen for a good year or so, so like Gaz and Matt and Zazel and Ken and Crash and all those guys are wonderful people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was starting to um, get into the whole group thing, it was with Jay, which I'm still with Jay on his stream. But it was you, it was Gaz, it was Crash, it was Zazel, it's Chad. I was just a young guy who didn't know anything, and you guys were like the coolest people in the world, as far as I was concerned. And when you started doing the whole break into the door, kind of thing, and I thought that was like the coolest thing. I go, okay, do I need to come up with an idea? And everybody's like, no, Chris, just be yourself. And I'm like, okay. And then I saw people slowly, going away from it. and and leaving, and I didn't understand it. I was like, okay, did people have a breakdown with somebody, or did argument with somebody, and now they're all leaving, and now it's just kind of me, and now I got this new group on Jay's stream, and it's kind of weird. It's like it goes in cycles. You know what I mean?
I I understand that, but I think I can go on record saying that I think Jay is probably one of the coolest people I know.
Mhm.
I don't think he takes too much stuff on. Um, I love his streams. Unfortunately, I have to watch all of them like in on replay these days because things are so
Right.
busy. And he's a full time streamer now. He's big
Yeah.
in the dance.
Yeah.
So as I said, I catch most of his stuff on replay. I was supposed to be actually visiting Canada this year, and I'm
Oh,
supposed to
cool.
meet up with him if he has the time because. I mean, once again, I haven't met up with Chad either in quite a while, and I
Yeah.
haven't seen him since JoeFest 2023.
Yeah.
But I would love to meet up with him. I heard he was DFW last year and DFW this year,
Yep.
and I can unfortunately only choose one convention, and Joe Fest just happens to be a bit bigger, so I end up going there. But
Yeah.
I don't want to say people fall out with each other, but distance and time and communication does take effort, and it's not that I think anybody really falls out. At least not in my case. I can't speak for everybody else, but
Yeah.
I still
Well.
every time and then when I get a chance, I say hi to Chad
Well.
and say
Yeah. I think because Zazo and Gaz started doing their own thing, and everybody started breaking away and doing their own kind of streams. I kind of felt like, okay, am I missing something? Because at first I thought, well, Zazo's not coming on Chad's stream anymore, so are there hard feelings there? And I was like, no, I'm reading too much into it, and I'm thinking, Chris, it's nonsense. Either they're just too busy, or they have a different agenda that they want to do, and it's different than everybody else's agenda. So
well,
it's not a
well,
bad thing.
no, no, not at all. Life happens, and that's the interesting thing, I suppose, about friendship.
Yeah, yeah,
It's it's not one of those things that, at least good friends, it's not one of the things that need to be maintained. Um, I have like a really good quote about that that I saved on my phone. I could read it actually.
yeah.
You'll be shocked where it comes from. It is said that one should keep one's allies within view and one's enemies within reach. One must be able to read an ally's strengths to determine how best to use him. One must similarly be able to read an enemy's weaknesses to determine how best to defeat him. But what of friends? There is no accepted answer, perhaps because true friendship is so exceedingly rare. But I have formulated my own. A friend need not be kept either within sight or within reach. A friend must be allowed the freedom to find and follow their own paths. If one is fortunate, these paths will join for a time. But if the paths separate, it is comforting to know that a friend still graces the universe with his skills, his viewpoint, and his presence. For if one is remembered by a friend, one is never truly forgotten.
That's so true. That's so true.
You
I
know who
like
said
that.
that?
Who?
Grand Admiral Thrawn from Star Wars.
Oh my God!
That's probably
Of
Timothy's
all people.
answer.
Oh my God! I would never guess, but I bet you, if you would have read that and Jay was here in the chat, he would have said, "Oh, I know who it is," because he's a big Star Wars buff.
He is
So
the Star Wars guy. Yeah.
yeah, and it's funny because in some of his streams, was it? I had gotten into someone had said something to me in Jay's stream, and I won't mention the person's name because I don't name drop, but that person said something that was totally out of character, and I'm looking in the chat and I'm like, did you really say that? And he's like, yeah, just chill. The weekend's coming. And I was really hurt. I was like really, really, really hurt because I thought this person was a kind guy, and then Matt just came in.
Yeah, I see him. Hey, Matt.
And Matt is one of the moderators of Jay's stream, and he messaged me on Discord. And he goes, "Are you okay with that?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not okay with that. I'm really hurt, you know." And
Yeah.
so um, I was, I was trying to think. It's like, okay, we like to have fun in streams, and we like to joke, correct? But
Correct. I think so.
how much far is joking too much? And I had to think to myself, okay, if I was in someone else's position, and I like to sometimes troll people, I like to, just have fun in the chat. But me and Jay know where to take it and not take it too far. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
might make a joke about me. I might make a joke about him and his playing on the stream, but we're joking, And I don't think some people. I guess some people don't get that we're joking. So Jay said, I need you to tone it down a little bit. I need you to it's good to have fun, but I think some people don't know your sense of humor.
Right.
And I when that person said something that was out of character for him, and I kind of took it like it didn't need to go there. It's okay to call me troll, you know, uh, cute cutthroat or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you taking it to a point where it involved something that didn't make me feel right, and I was just like, when okay, my thing is, when is it too much in a stream where people just are going way overboard, But I thought I would just throw it out there because you know
There's a
I
there's
think
an
there's go ahead.
there's a methodology usually that people, well, that I would use. You ever heard the 416 methodology?
Mm.
Ew. Well, even Matt knows what it's about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows. He was the moderator. So
Oh, so the 416 methodology is you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for one, and then you breathe out slowly for six.
yeah.
Hey, how you going, Zays?
Oh well, there's Hazel. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Look at the legends. Yeah, yeah.
and then you have to. Is it? Then you go through the three things.
Mm-hmm.
Is it necessary? Is it kind?
Mm-hmm.
Is it corrective? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then if it's not any of those three things after the breathing, then just don't say it. It's not necessary. But
yeah.
and my kid, my 7-year-old, told me that. He was like, "Is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it corrective?" And I was like, "You're 7." But he's right. He's absolutely right. Those three things are the guides. So what.
Yeah, yeah, and Matt does a great job in Jay's stream as moderator. He's very friendly to people and he's very nice and kind. And what did Zazel say? Matte glasses, purple, yellow
It,
diamonds, had
it's
pinky waving. Yeah,
what's it
yeah,
called again? It's the
yeah,
emojis. It's a bunch of emojis.
yes. But let's share some art with the chat. How about that?
Sure, let's do
You
that.
ready?
I think I am. Give me a hot
I'll
second.
set you all up here, and then you can show your. I gotta make you bigger. Hang on. I gotta make
Do
you
we?
big.
Oh, you want to go in? You want to go in reverse order, or how you want to do this? Ooh, it's a big.
Whatever order you want to go in. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's
Oh,
grab
wow.
a screen. I will grab a window, and I will bust this out. Y'all
Okay.
seeing it? Is that possible to see?
Uh, yes. Hang on one second. There we go.
It's small. Make that bigger. Is that bigger now?
No, I can
Oh,
make it bigger.
yes.
There you go. How's
All
that?
right, wonderful. That looks cool. I think it looks cool. Let me just make sure it looks cool. Yes, big enough. We'll zoom in. We'll figure it out. We're smart people. I think we are anyway. So this is a comic book, an
hmm
indie. So first of all, before I get into any of this stuff, I
Yeah.
howdy Stacy. I am an indie comic artist.
hmm
I don't like calling myself an indie comic artist, but that's what I am. So I can't say anything beyond that. It's the truth. It's what it is. I didn't start that way.
Yeah.
When I now got out of school,
Hmm.
One of my art teachers, he liked the way that I inked, and he was like, "Oh, well, I'll get you to do some work for me." So I did some work for him, and that's about
Hmm.
as close to mainstream as I got. And then after
Right.
that, it was just indie stuff. Um, then I kind of realized, wow, this is really difficult.
Yep.
And not only is it difficult, it's really time consuming. And my poor wife, oh God bless her soul, you know, I'd be there for hours sitting down there. Doot, 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 doot. Anyway, so this is a comic I did a long time ago.
Okay.
It's called Champions.
Okay.
I only have the black and whites here because I was not the colorist on the job. So they wanted really simple line work. They wanted it quick. They wanted it, cheap. And
Hmm.
luckily, I'm most of those things. So there's a methodology, and anybody who's into comic books kind of knows this, I suppose. You should always have an introductory shot, a zoom in, at this or that, the other. There are these things, and
Yeah.
this is your standard comic book page. So it
Hmm.
starts with your top panel here, which is just a elevator door opening. Ding. Then you have your establishing shot of positioning. Now the two characters, zoom in on the left here, are what's the word I'm looking for? They're the heroes, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and the butt we're seeing is the villain of the book. Um, her name is actually inscribed on the belt, but what?
Viper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's you know. So naturally, they see her, they get surprised. She takes up her little fighting stance. This is back when my anatomy was not as solid as it was, but give Jack his jacket. I
Yeah.
cannot for the life of me remember those two characters' names, the two hero characters, but there's the establishing shot, and then the Viper character says something. I don't know if you're familiar with Winter Soldier, but
Yes.
there's a bunch of words that they can say that kind of turns them into like a psycho killer.
Hmm.
She knew the words to kind of activate this guy. Consequently, when I was doing this book, I do think the writer was definitely probably taking influence from Winter Soldier. But she says it, he kind of shuts down, and then she goes and asks him to put the gun to his head, which of course he does because he's mind controlled essentially now. And the other character, I really wish I could remember her name. It's been many years. She's like, oh my gosh. And then it goes to on the far right panel, what did you do to him? What's happening? And the middle panel where she's like, you better tone down and relax yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to have him shoot himself. So she does, in fact, relax. That's good storytelling, in my opinion. These three panels, I love doing that. It happens a lot in the new book I'm working on as well. But
Hmm.
that kind of action, stimulus, reaction. It's my teacher Kent Burles, who is a Canadian artist, fantastic guy. Always says sometimes you have to think about what happens in between the panels,
Hmm.
and then she surrenders, and that's it. I can't show you the rest of it because it gets pretty gory, but
Okay.
that's like the first thing I want to show you because I felt always like everybody knows a lot of my illustrations, but they don't really know like a lot of my comic work, which
Yeah.
is for the best sometimes because I feel like a
Hmm.
lot of my classic
Hmm.
a lot of my classical illustration stuff is not I'm ashamed of it. I'm gonna be the guy to say that it's that I'm ashamed of a lot of my comic art. And I'm only
Hmm.
now recently learning that, you know, grow up, Hans. Grow up.
Hmm.
Just it's you. So be you.
I like your stuff, quite frankly. I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's good. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. But that's me. I'm always looking at different things and trying to figure out, okay, what are they? What is this illustrator trying to say in each of these drawings? So it's good. I see it, and I'm always. I think I send you a lot of compliments your way.
Yeah, you do. You're very encouraging. I always I a lot of guys get weird with compliments, but
Hmm.
they don't know how to accept them. But I am one of those people usually. But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing like a lot of the people who say that it's kind of what's encouraged me to do my new book. Honestly, it's like they're like, "Come on, man, you're wasting time." And it's only when
Hmm.
someone was harsh with me like that that I realized I was like, "They're right, man. I should just do it, even if I fail." Even if
Hmm.
I fail, so what? So
Yeah,
what? Even if I fail.
I feel the same way when it comes to writing. It's like I'll write something for my current comic book, and I'll look at it the next day and go, "Why did I write it that way?" And then I second guess myself, and I go, "Wait a minute. Okay, let me go back and figure why I wrote something like that, and why I wanted to put it in this panel or that panel." And then I had Doug Wagner look at it, and he's like, "There's nothing wrong with it, Chris. It's fine."
It's always like when you hear a professional say it, it kind of gives you that reinforcement that you're like, I'm being way too critical of myself. Matt
Yes.
actually said something. It looks like skeleton and leotard. Which
Yeah.
one? I'm
The
wondering.
I think the first one you showed.
Right. So if he means this girl on the far right hand side, she actually has cat ears going on there. So she's got those little cat ears going on there. I remember her being so first of all,
Hmm.
like full full disclosure.
Maybe he's talking more about the other one that looks like could be Scarlet.
Oh, the one on the left there? Maybe.
Yes,
Maybe. Full
maybe.
disclosure. Ever since Dominion Tank Police, I've had a
Hmm.
thing for the 15% cat girl. You're gonna
Hmm.
see it. I'm just
Hmm.
warning you from now. You're gonna see it.
Do you have that one that you posted on Facebook of the figure line that you did a drawing of?
Which one is that?
It's for one of those indie figure lines, and you did a drawing of it. It was on Facebook.
Oh, you're
If you could
talking about.
show that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hang on. I have it. I have it on my other computer, of course.
Okay.
Why not? One second.
All right, no problem.
I can use the old Zazel technique.
Okay. Yes, for the fast view.
This one. Oop, wait, I minimized it. Oop. This one, right?
Let me make you bigger. Let me make you bigger.
This one,
Yes,
right?
that.
That one.
Yes, that one. That
Okay.
one.
This is a terrible way to do this. Let me see if I can bring it up, professionally. Oh,
Don't worry. Don't worry. It's all good. We're all good. And Matt said he did not see the ears at first. So.
well, it pops up way more when you it pops up way more when it's colored. I wish I had the colored samples, but in those days I didn't feel like I had a right to see the colored stuff. I felt like
Oh,
once people,
really?
yeah, I really wanted to be as little of a problem as possible. I was just happy to get paid.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and I've kind of realized that that's not the way to operate. You should ask to try to get the finished work as part of
Yeah.
your portfolio. So I made a lot of mistakes. I'm not gonna be the one to
Yeah.
be like, oh, listen to me. I'd be like, learn from my mistakes because
Yeah.
I made a lot of them, maybe.
Well, it was funny because when I was talking with Alex Sanchez, and he was like, he worked with Larry Hama in the very early GI Joe comic books when he got
Yeah,
out of what got out of school, and the reason he got a chance to work with Larry Hama was because of the Cooper family. He had worked for the Cooper Academy School of
yeah,
Arts,
Qbert, yeah,
and he was telling me that when he was doing a front cover of GI Joe for Larry Hama, he had done the Terror Dome in
yeah.
the fields, and Larry came by and said, "We're scrapping the whole thing except for the guy Stalker
No.
the fields." He goes, "I wanted you to do more of a like a Vietnam setting," and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he went back and he erased everything. And this was not the day and age where we had computers, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my god, I gotta scrap this whole thing." And he's like, he's going back over things, and he was telling me a story. He goes, "Chris, I learned something from that day. Don't think." as an illustrator, you know what the writer is thinking. You need
Yeah,
to ask him what he wants. And
it's absolutely communication. Absolutely communication.
oh my god.
It's like every relationship, including marriage. It's man, when in doubt, just ask because trust me,
Mm,
they can't read minds either. But yeah,
mm,
this is the illustration here I popped up in, I believe.
yeah. I just think that even with my illustrator out of Italy, he's always second guessing himself too. And I'm like, dude, you're talented and you're asking me my opinion. I said, I don't know what would be good. If you told me, okay, if you told me, here's if you didn't tell me who the illustrator was and you put down two images and you told me to say, well, who is who? I couldn't tell you. I'd be like, oh, they all look good to me. I don't know. And then they would say, "Oh, well, this is Hans Chow over here, and this is Alex Sanchez. You can't tell the difference." I'm like,
I could definitely tell Alex is way better than I am. But yeah, I know what you mean. Is there's an interesting thing that has been happening. I really wish.
mm-hmm,
I wonder if I could get them. They're right there on the table. But the way that I draw in general, the way that I
uh,
draw in general is more line stuff. But I do way more shading in my actual comic stuff now. You enjoy comics if the writer gives you specific details or does that stifle your creativity. So interesting. When I'm working for me, I do what I want,
mm-hmm,
obviously. But when I'm working for a writer, what I usually do is I take 8.5 by 11, like photocopy paper. You pay like $2 and get like 100 rolls of it, and I would
mm-hmm,
do 4 different pages, and
mm-hmm,
one or two of those pages would have my suggestions.
yeah,
And if he likes them, that's what
mm-hmm,
I do. But so here's an interesting thing about creativity. I never let anybody stifle my creativity. I look at their suggestions and their direction as an opportunity to challenge myself
mm-hmm,
to do something I may not have done without someone asking.
yeah,
So recently, someone asked me to draw. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it was because my memory is getting bad. Um, but I think it's in my sketchbook. Funny enough,
okay,
right here. My sketchbook is always like less than two
mm-hmm,
feet away from my hands in case I want to draw. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Right. That's what it is. Come on. I would never draw Marvel stuff,
right,
but someone asked me to draw Sue Storm from Marvel Rivals.
right,
And another kid, these are all kids from school. They're like, oh, cool, we play Marvel Rivals. Can you draw magic? And I was like, who the hell is magic? But anyway, whatever. So I went online, I looked it up, and like, oh wow, this is rad. This is something I would have never looked at or tried. So I listened to them. I went and I read a little bit about the character and I drew them. And it's the same thing with this guy. Listen, I work in a school, and those kids are connected to anime and comic books and all that sort of stuff. It's like this guy. I can't pronounce his name. Toji Fushi something from Jujutsu Kaisen. I would have never drawn him either. But one
oh
of the kids was
wow,
like, "Sir, it would be so cool if you drew this." And I'll be like, "You know what? I'll give it a shot." And I look at this. I look at it the same way as when a writer gives me something to draw. I'll
mm-hmm,
give them suggestions on what I think, but if they want what they want, I give them what they want as well. Because the reality is, it's all just a challenge, and to me,
mm-hmm.
it's a fun game, and I like to play that game. So it
Have,
for my creativity, Matt, to answer your question.
I got a question for you. With all the toy figure packaging that goes on today, has anyone ever approached you to do art cover for indie figures or Kickstarters?
No, nobody has. That's kind of understandable though. I get that. I understand that.
Yeah,
I it's not an industry I was really exploring, but
yeah,
I'm realizing art money is art money, and I do want to do art. So I'm going to start. I shouldn't say I'm going to start. I have started making small steps into that arena and just being like, hey, I drew your character. Hee hee. And
Yeah.
if they like how it looks, or they're willing to give it a shot, then maybe it'll win something, or maybe not. If not, same thing as before. It's all just practice, and
Mhm.
Lord knows, I could use more practice,
Yeah.
as well as a 4K camera. Because I'm looking at your quality and my quality, I'm realizing I need to get a 4K camera.
Uh,
You look great.
well, thank you, thank you. I mean, it's just my Apple iMac built-in camera. It's nothing special, but it is
My
4K.
cameras. Oh, well, you see, your luck. Mine is like, I don't know what this is. I look like I'm made of popcorn. You know.
You don't look bad. I mean, it looks good. I'll be honest, it looks good. I mean, I thanks for the compliments. That makes me feel good. We're just having a good time right here on the stream. And did you ever do any did work for Jay's channel at all? Artwork?
did I did some artwork for Jay. The first one I did, I should have put all these things on. Why am I this way? Hang on.
Okay.
I um I put. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I the first one is, it was when he was playing Legend of Zelda.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
that was one of my favorite streams because it used to annoy him so much. And Jay is such a calm guy that when he gets annoyed, I was like, oh man, I really started to root for him hardcore as he started to
Yeah.
play the game. And the first illustration I did for him was I drew a picture of him playing Legend of Zelda. I think I
Oh.
have it here. Hold on, I think I have it here. I'll get it.
Okay.
Where are you? I actually named it Jay's Hell Ride. Did I put it on the art drive already? I may have already. Hang on.
Hmm. We got you up and running here.
No, I didn't. I didn't put it in, unfortunately. But I'm gonna go get it now. But
Okay.
and that was the first time I worked for Jay.
Hmm.
And in all honesty, it was a fun illustration for me to do. I'm
Hmm.
gonna get it here really quick, as well as all the other stuff I did for Jay. One, because there's been quite a few.
Yeah.
Because Jay, as I said before, he's a really nice guy, and he's hired me a few times.
Yeah.
Um, I really wish I struck that iron a little bit harder when I got the chance. But
Yeah.
Jay's a nice guy, as I said before, and push
Oh
comes to
yeah.
shove, I'll get the chance to work.
I think he has a different guy now that does a lot of his other stuff too.
Oh yeah, I I don't know. I don't wanna dunk on anybody, but
No, no.
is it AI question mark?
Uh, I don't think so. I
No?
don't.
Okay, well then whoever that is doing his stuff now, that guy is amazing. That
Yeah.
guy is amazing.
Yeah.
But I have my own little style. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be the one to be like, it's the
Yeah.
best ever or whatever. I don't blow my own horn. But
I'll blow
so
up for you.
this is
I'll be like,
thank you. Appreciate that. Let me show it here. Stop screen sharing. Share
mhm.
window. There. Share. So that's the first illustration there I ever did for Jay that I put up
Okay.
right
Okay. Let me get it on the screen here. Hang on.
there. Right. So this is the first illustration I ever did for Jay. So this was my caricature of
Oh.
Jay losing his mind playing this janky, what's it called again? CDI,
Oh yeah. CDI.
some kind of CDI game, right? So
Right. Right.
you play as Zelda in a Legend
Right.
of Zelda game.
I think that was that horrible version one he had.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Jay's face when he was playing, and he kept doing this with the controller. Oh, oh, and I remember that burned into my mind, and I was like, I need to draw this. So I drew Jay freaking out while playing this game, and those little red octopus guys, the Octoroks, he
Yeah.
had a hard time dealing with them. So I drew
Yeah.
one in, but after I drew him in, I realized that the right hand side of the page looked a little bit kind of barren, so I threw a Moblin in there.
Mm.
But this was the first illustration I did for Jay. It was a freebie. It was like
Mm.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
show him how much he was affecting, my life, and how happy he was making me through his efforts of, well, in essence, suffering.
Yeah.
And then he made contact with me, and he said, "Could you draw something for me, someone else?" And I said, "Sure, no problem, man." And he
Mhm.
asked me to draw this because he started to go through Resident Evil.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He started to go through Resident Evil 3, the one with Nemesis. And he asked me to draw him as a stars agent with Jill Valentine, and I was like, sure, no problem, man. So I drew him as, what's his name again, as Leon. I drew him in Leon's getup, minus, not Leon, Chris Redfield's getup,
Yes.
next to Jill, and with Nemesis in the background. I would love to redo this illustration because, funny enough, that's actually a really, in my opinion, that's a good caricature of Jay.
Yeah,
I,
it
I
is.
really enjoyed that, doing this caricature. Um,
The only thing I don't see on there, and don't take this the wrong way, are his tattoos.
I didn't know what they looked like.
Oh yeah, you should have got like had him take a photo of his arms or something, and then you can like,
I should have, and yeah, but I really didn't know what they looked like.
yeah.
I think the only one I know for sure I think he has is an Arashikage. That's the only
Yes,
one I know off
I
the top.
believe it's on the left. Yeah, the left. The left.
Yes, it's on the left hand side. It's the left hand
Yes.
side.
Yeah.
And then the last one he asked me to do is this one, because he was going through not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. He was going
What
through
she
Tears of the Kingdom.
what she did stream today.
Was it Tears of the Kingdom today?
Yeah, on Switch 2. On Switch 2
Oh, he started
edition.
with. See, I didn't even know because I was,
Yeah.
at work, etc.
It was a
Yeah.
surprise. It even
Oh,
shocked us. We were like, "What?" He's like,
yeah. You
"Yeah,
see, I didn't. Once again, didn't know. But this is the last one he asked me to do. He
yeah,
gave me the illustration, not the illustration, the picture of Link, and he's in that pose. And he said, "But just draw it as me." I said, "Sure, no problem." Put it in, put it down. Luckily, his sleeves are covered, so I
yeah,
didn't miss any tattoos this time. But yeah,
yeah."
it's just him as Link from sorry, not Breath of the Wild, from Tears of the Kingdom.
Mhm.
I really did enjoy doing this stuff. It's as I said, he's a good guy. He's a great guy. I was glad to follow him. I'm still glad to watch him when I can get the chance to do so. So
Oh
to
yeah,
do something that made him happy, I'm happy to do that.
and
So
it's so
that's
cool because this type of style, I think is really cool. It's not cartoony, and it's not. It's like in between. You know what I mean? There's cartoon, and then this is like in between cartoon and detailed comic. Does that make
it's a,
sense?
yeah. No, I get it. It's stylized.
Yeah.
It's not
What would you call it?
I have no idea, but I watched a lot of anime when I was young, so I imagine it's probably anime styled. I've been told that it looks anime is styled. I semi resent that, but I can't deny it either. So I don't know. It's my style. It's definitely stylized. I don't know.
Did you see that
Man,
comment? Did you see that comment?
which one? Which one?
This one.
Let me see. It's Trinidadian. Yes. Right. Wait, where are you from? Sorry, just give me the island, or you could just give me the Antilles. You don't
Yes.
have to. You don't
You
have
don't
to.
have to give us your exact
Yeah, don't give
location.
me the. Don't give me where you from exactly. Just give me the Antilles, lesser or greater.
Oh my god! But he's great too. Raj is a new person to Jay's stream. I think he's only been there for a year. I think maybe Matt will correct me, but
All
he's a really
right.
nice guy. He's a nice guy. He's
He's well,
nice.
Raj is in good company because, as I said, Jay's a great guy. Jay's
Oh,
fantastic.
I have not. I have only good things to say about Jay all the time, and he's given me advice when I've done my channel, and I'm like, "Do you change your thumbnails all the time?" And he's like, "Yeah, I change my thumbnails all the time." And it's like, "More views, Chris." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
He's right. It's a listen. It's a strategy. It's something that you have to do if you want to get into the game.
Hmm.
No faults, no foul. Do the thing.
Okay. What else
So
was I
that's all
gonna?
I've ever done for Jay. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna shut that off for a second, and I'm going
Yep.
to move to.
And these are good.
So I'm gonna move on to just some other colored work now.
He says, Raj says, Hans, okay, it's like me. Yeah, he didn't say where you're from.
Wow, me too, dude.
I'm from the island of Trinidad. Okay,
Me too,
boy.
Raj. Me
There you
too.
go. Matt says, I have a good memory, but not that good. Okay, okay. Well, he's so good at giving advice. I thought Matt would know right off the top of the head, So, okay, I got another question for you.
Sure, shoot.
We know you've done a lot of work for people like Jay and everything to make your portfolio bigger as an illustrator. If you could work on any comic book,
Oh
doesn't
Lord.
matter Marvel, DC, Image, Malibu, I don't care. It could be an indie comic, it could be a Kickstarter comic. Who would you do it for? I'm putting you on the spot.
I would love to do. It's one of two things. I would love to do Danger Girl,
Ooh.
or I would love to do Danger Girl, or I'd love to do GI Joe something. GI Joe something. Just pick one. I don't
Mhm.
care if I'm writing like
Mhm.
Bazooka's life story. Just let me do something GI Joe. Um, just one of those two. That's an easy one. But like dream something. If I could go back in time,
Mhm.
if I could go back in time, I would love
Yeah.
to do Rogue Squadron Star Wars. Like I love like X-wings and dog fighting, and that's what give me that like all day. But then again, there's a trend, right? Nothing I've named is superhero stuff. Everything is kind of
Mhm.
sci-fi or military, and I kind of dig that.
Mhm.
I remember when I was in school. Um, so first of all, the illustration department started off as 45 people, and it ended up in the final year as like 9 because it was a rugged illustration process. It carved out the
Mhm.
weak people pretty fast. And I
Right.
remember, um, I remember I was talking to, and I'm still good friends with a guy named Dan McKinnon, and
Mhm.
he was like, and he was much older than me. He's
Mm.
obviously he still is because that's how time works. He was like, I don't really see the point in like drawing too much superhero stuff nowadays because it removes a lot of the humanity and a lot of the danger from the individuals themselves, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and that sank in with me really deeply. And that's why I'd make those choices because no matter how we slice it, the most superhuman individual in Star Wars are the Jedi. But
Mhm.
Rogue Squadron, they were just pilots. They were exceptional. Thing came from skills and training and their instincts. They could die. Their mortality was like ours, and I like that. And the same could be said for GI Joe. The most superhuman people are actually the villains. Serpento,
Mhm.
the bats were all robots. I mean, okay, now we're getting quote unquote superheroes coming into GI Joe, like Helix, who has like
Mhm.
essentially Taskmaster's superpower. But other
Mhm.
than that, I mean, they're normal people. And that to me raises the level of danger. And when the danger goes up and the stakes go up, it makes the characters more interesting because death is never far away. They could be
Yeah.
killed by the same thing I could be killed by. So I'd love to draw those things, provided the writer is good enough.
Yeah.
Not to
You
say
know.
that I deserve a good writer, but I would love to work for a good writer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know
Mario.
who I would like you to do a comic book? would I think you would be really good at doing illustrated this particular comic book if they did it. Mask,
I would love to draw Mask. I would absolutely love to draw Mask.
because Chad showed me a comic book that he got from the comic book store, and it was only like 4 issues of Mask back in the day, and I was like, dude, you got 4 issues of Mask that are hard to find, and he's like teasing me with it. I'm like, it's like, where do you find this stuff? Because I look hard and find at my comic book shop, and I'm going through the old stuff, and I'm like, I. I barely find stuff. I mean, I find stuff on eBay. I found 5 issues of Gargoyles from Marvel,
Oh,
which
wow.
those were hard to find, and those were like a pretty penny, because you can't find those stuff anymore. It's like,
Yeah. The illustration I just pulled up there is
oh
Mask.
my god, okay, there you go.
It's Mask.
It's Mask.
It's
See, you
Mask.
can do it. You can do a new version of Mask, right?
I have that. That's my what's her name again? Gloria Baker. And I think in this same kerfuffle of pictures, I also have the Vanessa Warfield, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken.
Matt was just saying, is it from the '80s or the newer stuff?
The Mask thing.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm sorry. The Gargoyles. I'm not. It has to be from the '90s, right? That's when Gargoyles came out.
yeah. It looks so good. It looks so good. I mean, come on. I
Let me
I could
try.
see
Get
if
the
you had
the other
if you
one.
had the right writer.
Oh, there she is, and that's Vanessa.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great. Every time I see your stuff, it amazes me. I'm just
Thank
I'm
you.
not I'm not trying to bullshit you. I've seen good stuff. I've seen good stuff, and I've seen bad stuff. And the first couple people that I hired for my comic book, they were like really, really bad. And Alex told me, goes, I hope you didn't pay a whole lot of money for that. And I go, what's wrong with it? He goes, the anatomy is all wrong. And I was like, and I
And
go, I was like, Alex, can you fix it? And he goes, well, I'm busy right now, but go find somebody on either Etsy or one of these big, huge sites that you can get people illustrators. And when I found the person that does my comics now from Italy, he's like, "Yeah, the enemy's all wrong. I can fix all this stuff for you." And he looked at it because the original artist that did, I think, the very front cover, uh, the poster one that I had,
yeah,
the arms and legs are the same length, and I was like, Alex goes, "That's impossible. You can't have the arms and the legs the same length. It doesn't make sense."
that's a crazy thing about anatomy in general, and I think you could ask any artist at all.
Hmm.
Uh, like you can be practicing that until you're on your deathbed and you can still be making mistakes, and that's just unfortunately the way that it is. If so, I'm sure that most artists can speak to this, but you're working on a project and you're banging away at it, and then
Hmm.
you're just so tired and you keep redoing the same arm or leg or eye over and over, and it keeps looking bad. Then you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning and then you do it in like 3 seconds. And you just still keep making those mistakes because you're hungry or you're tired or you're this or you're that. I mean, I'm sure even like my go-to guy, so Jim Lee. I'm sure even Jim Lee has days where he's like, I keep messing this up and I need to go
Right.
get sleep because I'm gonna die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's if I can give any advice to anybody who wants to get into comics, especially because a lot of his anatomy, practice
Hmm.
your anatomy. Don't stop practicing your anatomy. When you thought you've practiced enough anatomy, go back and practice some more because it's just all the time. It's just, and you have to gain such a level of mastery because as soon as you
Hmm.
start doing things where you have to like foreshorten or do some weird pose or something like that, man,
Hmm.
you're gonna be glad that you practiced that anatomy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of artists, I think one of my friends back in the day, David Sakoan, he went up to, um, was it Rob Lightfield at the time? And I guess because they were so young, they started laughing at his artwork. And I was just like, how can these big professionals be laughing at somebody for trying, you know, and
I've met
saying,
I met Rob. I met Rob. He's a wonderful human being. He is
well, I'm
a
sure he is, but don't you think when they were younger, they were so full of themselves that they might have made a mistake and made a comment to somebody that they didn't mean to say, but because they were so young and
absolutely. When you're young, you say a lot of dumb stuff.
right.
I agree. Absolutely agree with that.
I'm not
Rob,
trying to say
when did
Rob
Rob get
Liefeld.
it? When he was, I think he started when he was like 15 or 16. He was young.
Yes,
He was
yes,
young. And but
yes,
but you see it in all arenas, right? In sports and stuff, you have guys
oh,
get in to the pro leagues at 18 and 19 and stuff, and they have no idea what to do. They're being told they're the greatest ever, as the
right,
young kids would say, they're the goat. But
yeah,
they don't know what to do with the flame, wow, with the fame or this or that, and but it
yeah.
goes to your head.
Yeah.
Uh, yes, Matt, I cannot. I think
What is it? What I got?
he does like to amputate feet. Yes, he does like he has problems with feet. He does have hey guys,
Oh my god!
he
Oh my
does
god,
have problems
guys!
with feet. Poor
Oh my
fella.
god!
But
Oh
he is getting better. But one cannot question the man's like his passion and love for the
yeah.
craft. You know, that's infectious at least.
It was just weird because when my friend told me that Rob Liefeld told him that his stuff sucked, I was like, that can't be right. And he's like, oh no, he said it to my face. And I was like, wow. But then like I said, he was young, so he probably was having a long day, and people are probably giving him attitude, and he was just like, okay, this kid's asking me an opinion, so I'm going to give him my harsh opinion. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I
wasn't there.
the so I showed Larry Hammer my work too. And I
Hmm.
think he's the harshest guy at JoeFest. At least I'm told that he can be like really
Oh
mean.
yeah.
And he looked over this stuff, and this is all he did. He was like, he gave a nod, and he was like, "This is good," and that's about as much confirmation as I needed.
Right.
Now I showed Doug Hart as well, and Doug Hart is of course the guy who did all the backs for the GI Joe cards, right?
Yeah.
And he like went on and on, and he gave me advice, and he's giving me all these things, and he really enjoyed it so much so that I like last year when I met him, I traded art with him,
Hmm.
and I followed him on Instagram, and he followed me back, and I was like, and I speak to him now, and I still talk to him about like tips and tricks,
Hmm.
and it's very warming because in on the inside he's still very much like me, just like this dude who's trying to kind of get into comics or get into art in his case, but he's
Hmm.
already there, but he's never forgotten where he came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lamprey. Well,
Yeah.
the pilot for the hydrofoil, that's a lamprey, man.
Oh yeah. And it's beautiful. I mean, uh, I'm gonna say it. It's beautiful. I loved your. You have a style that I've never seen before, and I've seen a lot of artwork, and it just amazed me how each illustrator is different in when it comes to shading or coloring or the details, the lines.
I To tell the honest truth, I would love to go back to school and do some more tutorials or get some more instruction on coloring. Like,
Yeah,
My coloring is good for comic book coloring, but I do
Yeah.
recognize that it's not like the best thing ever. And I would love to get some more
Mm.
pointers. And like I go on YouTube to try to get tutorials there and stuff. Once again, as Raj would know, Trinidad is very hard to get
Right.
anything down here, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
I try to get it on YouTube and all that, and I find a lot of tutorials aren't really applicable
Right.
because in essence they'll give you like 13% of a tutorial, and then the other 87% is, you know, buy this thing. And sometimes I'd like the rest of, at least one demo. You know what I mean? Before I
Got.
buy it. You know, that's
Mm.
the scrupulous individual inside of me.
Gage
My
has a good point. Lightfield's art may not be for everyone back in the day. His art was a killer. Cool. He hasn't changed much in his style, but his passion for comics and its history is unmatched. He's generally a good person. Thank
Yeah,
you, guys. Yeah.
I agree. I absolutely agree. My
Yeah.
Rob loves comic books in a way that not only a fan loves comic books, but in the
Hmm.
way an artist also loves comic books. And he's really grown up a lot across the board. And if there's anything that any of us can take from Rob, it's just sometimes the passion really gets you there, you know?
Yeah. I've been trying to get Larry Hama to come on Comic Book Spotlight, but his agent's been very difficult with me. So
Really?
I know I know Larry Hama doesn't do a whole lot of podcasts and YouTube streams, but I looked online and there was only a handful of people that's ever got Larry Hama to agree to appear. And me and Chad, for the longest time, have been chasing Larry Hama just to get on our channels, just to just say a few words or thing. So, Larry, if you're out there, and I know you are, Comic Book Spotlight would love to have you on this show. I would like to just shoot the breeze with you.
Larry is Larry is one of the OGs. He's
Oh yeah,
when he speaks, there's a wisdom to it, and there's a lot to learn even from his candor and his small stories. As I said before, when I was at JoeFest, I enjoyed just kind of hanging around and listening to him talk to other people because he
yeah.
really does drop a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of experience with regards to not only comic industry but with writing. You know.
Raj, it was my pleasure. Cutthroat, thank you for the stream and for sharing amazing work of the incredible son of soil, as they say in my country. Okay,
In
that's
our country. Raj, follow me on Instagram. I'd love to talk comics and stuff like that. So if you
absolutely, yeah, yeah, and
Hans Chow on Instagram, follow me, dude.
yeah. I know we have a deadline of an hour, and we are close to that.
Ooh,
So I'm going
can
to
I do
give
one? Let me
you.
do. Give me 5 minutes. Let me do one more thing. So
Okay,
just share the screen one more time.
you got it.
Just right. So this is the last illustration I'm gonna go in. This. So look this guy up. This is for Hangman Comics. He
Okay,
runs a comic called Monstrella, and I
cool.
got a chance to do some work for him. It's gonna be more than 5 minutes. Hang on, one second.
Okay.
Just give me one second. I do have this. I should have brought it earlier. Right. So this guy. He's an indie creator as well, and he's one of the few people who was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna send you copies," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever, man." But dude was true to his word. So the work that I did for him, he sent me copies of the book.
Oh my God, you're
So
published.
so he sent me the first three issues of Monstrella, right? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you go look him on Instagram. He's doing more of them, and he's a really nice guy. And he asked me to do, uh, as well as many other talented artists. He was doing a swimsuit edition for all of you from the '90s. You'll remember how big the
Yes,
swimsuit issues were back in those
Rogue.
days. Rogue. Oh gosh, don't even start me. So he
Yes.
asked me to do these illustrations. So I did one of his characters. So that's Monstrella, and I
Okay.
love Cthulhu. I don't know
Yep.
why, but she's kind of like a monster hunter kind of business. I did this illustration for him, and then the
Mhm.
following year I did another one, which is this one here. Once again, Cthulhu
Ooh.
stuff. Um, and this is like I from an indie comics experience.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the nicest people I've ever worked with. He was very understanding. He was very what's the word I'm looking for? He got it. The same
Mhm.
passion that Rob kind of puts into his work, he puts into
Yeah.
his comic books. And I mean, if he's listening right now, if he is tuning in, I mean, I hope he understands how much I appreciated the shot he gave
Mhm.
me, as well as all the other artists who got a
Mhm.
chance to work on his stuff. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yep.
Monsterella. It's some of the few published indie pieces that I have out there, and it is a fun book. His art is in the book. He's actually a talented artist as well, and it's worth if you like monster hunting and stuff like that. It's definitely worth the check. So just that's it.
Okay. I'm going to give you the spotlight. I'm going to put you on big screen, and you're going to tell everybody where you can find you, if you have a Patreon, so on, so on. Here you go.
I do have a Patreon. I do have Instagram, and I recently started Facebook. So you can find me on Instagram at Hans_Chow. You can find me on Patreon as Hans Chow. You can find me on Facebook as Hans Chow or Hans_Chow, one of those as well. And guys, to answer your question, I did reach out to Adam Riches. We are in a gear. We're doing stuff. On my Patreon, I do audiobooks. I do art. I am working on my own book. Maybe one day, Mr. Githens would be kind enough to have me back on, and I can actually preview my book for you guys.
Yes.
And uh, and that's about it. So it's mostly art, audio, and I do a few tutorials every now and then, and it's just a good time. And my Instagram is just full of art. That's all I do.
I want to thank you so much for coming on my channel. I know it's been taking a long time. There was I think it was last month or a couple months before, where I got real sick, and I didn't have you on Comic Book Spotlight, and then I started getting busy again. I was like, I gotta get Hans on Comic Book Spotlight, because I told him I was gonna have him on there, and I was a man of my word, and I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. This was a short and sweet live stream. I thank Hans and everybody for showing up. We're out of here, and we're going to send it off with this nice little video outro. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
In the glow of a desk lamps light, heroes are born in the dead of night. Inkers trace dreams with a steady hand. Writers weave worlds where legends stand. Comic book spotlight shining bright, revealing creators who give us light. From pencils to panels, their magic glows. Behind the capes and suits we know, Enid are shaping the chaos within, guiding the arcs where battles begin. Artists giving life to explosive fights, creating the cosmos in paper's white.